Good morning, everyone. We will now begin the morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters, asking God and Meishu-sama to protect and bless us as we participate today in the construction of paradise on earth. Amatsu-Norito and Miroku Prayer, please stand. Takamahara ni kamuzumarimasu.
Kamuragi kamurami no mikoto mochite sumeni oya kamuri sanagi no mikoto atsukushi no rimu kano tachi hana no odono ahagi harani misogi harai tamo toki ni narimaseru Arai dono o kami tachi moro moro no maga goto tsumi kegare o arai tamai kiyome tamai toma o sukoto no yoshi o amatsu kami kunitsu kami yao yorosu no kami tachi tomo ni ame no uchi goma no mimi kuritate kikoshi meseto kashikomi momaozu Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Miroku o mikami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie mi oyan shino kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae Oshie miyoyan shino kami mamori tamae saki hae tamae. Om Nagara Tamachi Haemase Om Nagara Tamachi Haemase Great God of light, creator and giver of all life, in accordance with your divine will, the long age of night draws to an end. Your radiant divine light, shining ever more brilliantly, awakens the dawn of the glorious age of light, a time long awaited by all humanity. We thank you for guiding us to your divine plan, and for the privilege of channeling and receiving Johrei. May our spirits and bodies be illuminated and purified as we live your truth given to us by Meishu-sama. Make us pure and effective instruments of your divine light, so that we may serve you and all those with whom we come in contact. May paradise on earth be realized, with health, peace, and prosperity, a reality in our lives. Great God of light, bless and protect us, radiate our souls with your divine light, so that we may truly become instruments of your great plan.
Please be seated. We will now receive Group Johrei.
May God Meishu-sama bless you.
Johrei is now concluded. We will now listen to a reading from Meishu-sama's teachings. Time. A great turning point on earth is at hand. Open your eyes. See what is happening. See the world's actual state. Only those who can see the dawn of the new era have clear vision, true eyes to perceive the truth. God's great divine light, long awaited by humanity, has finally appeared. The power to save the world. We stand today at the turning point between the old order and the new, a major worldwide transitional period. Such a great change has never before been experienced by humanity. It is entirely unprecedented. God, the creator of the universe, the absolute being, has been worshipped by many races under many names. It is the final plan of God to establish the ideal world where truth, virtue, and beauty are manifested in perfect balance. This can be accomplished only when all the necessary conditions are fulfilled. This is why God has waited for the right time, and now is that time. It is urgent for humanity to realize this and to spiritually transform its inner self. God uses human beings to serve as instruments in accomplishing it. Now that the world is standing on the verge of this critical change, it is most important for all of us, in order to become a resident in the new world, to be worthy of surviving the transition period.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. Today we included our prayers, COVID-19 victims, their families, the turmoil going on in Afghanistan, and most especially the victims of the earthquake in Haiti. And they are still, besides the earthquake, they've been affected by a tropical depression. So that's many victims. So we are keeping them in our prayers. They would like to share a faith experience from Braga, Portugal. This is from Flávia Lopes Sales do Nascimento. Flávia do Nascimento is originally from Brazil and currently lives in Guimarães, Portugal, giving service at the Braga Johrei group. Since the beginning of 2020, already more than a year living in Guimarães, she has been purifying with financial difficulties and conflicts. The prolongation of the pandemic situation, her purifications intensified at the beginning of this year, and she had several economic losses and serious conflicts with her family. This ended up forcing her to continue her path alone, having to survive by herself with a part-time job, although still depending on the help of her parents. Despite all that, even working and studying hard, she never stopped giving service and striving to channel Johrei to non-members and introduce Meishu-sama at every opportunity that presented itself, always trying to participate in the activities of the Johrei group. In 2 months before getting a new place to live, she stayed with a friend and began to assist her family through Johrei and the teachings of God revealed by Meishu-sama. She was able to experience various blessings in her life and with her family, from health issues as well as career progression to a change to a better job. Meanwhile, she was always looking for other job opportunities to support herself financially, but nothing came up. until an opportunity arose in another department within the same company where she works for. It would be only on weekends, but earning a little more with a more relaxed workload, although the functions require a lot of responsibility. So she managed to rent a room in which she found peace and a quiet environment to live in. However, despite earning a little more, her salary still did not cover all her expenses. In addition to not allowing her to pay for a space to hold Johrei gatherings, as she had wanted for a long time since she arrived in Guimarães. Consequently, she applied for a full-time job in the same position and in the same company, but in another city. They invited her to an interview, but they did not select her. When the month of May arrived, after participating in a seminar in preparation for the Paradise on Earth service, she decided to make a special dedication for this important day of transition from the age of night to the daylight age. She also decided to daily make donations, channel 30 minutes of self-Johrei, and read 30 minutes of Meishu-sama's teachings. She participates in Johrei gatherings in Braga every week and visits once a week the frequent visitors that she follows up in Vizela, which is a neighboring city to Guimarães. In addition, she pledged to make a special donation for the Paradise on Earth service at their headquarters and to continue introducing Johrei to as many people as possible. She was able to channel Johrei and follow up on 10 people, getting many experiences as a result. She organized her time and finances to carry out all these activities until the day of the Paradise on Earth service, which is, of course, June 15th. However, she continued doing this practice even after the June service. This was because, despite dedicating herself to the divine work, she continued to have anxiety attacks due to her endless financial problems and the loneliness of being alone in another country without her family and friends around. The feelings of loneliness and sadness were recurrent, although she always fought against them. She constantly asked herself, "What I'm doing in Portugal?" Her minister gave her guidance that these tribulations were for her financial and emotional growth, since our happiness cannot depend on anything or anyone, but only on making others happy, as Meishu-sama teaches us. Therefore, she had to focus ever more on the happiness of those she was following up on. After attending the monthly appreciation service in July, in which the teaching Surrender to God was read, the head minister of Portugal advised that it is necessary to get rid of problems and ask God and Meishu-sama for strength to eliminate self-centeredness and attachment. She decided to dedicate herself to this guidance, and she really wanted to get rid of the situations that made her suffer, such as loneliness and her financial situation. In addition, she tried to put parts of her life in order. First of all, serving God and Meishu-sama, striving for the happiness of those around her, dedicated for the salvation of her ancestors, make efforts in her studies and in her work. Thereafter, her mother and Flavia discovered that they are descendants of Portuguese Sephardic Jews who emigrated to Brazil due to religious persecutions still in the late Middle Ages. After consulting a genealogist, they found out the names of three ancestors, which they then enshrined, the Johrei Saishi, and began to request memorial services for them. That same week, she received a temporary job offer and decided to accept with the zoning to make a special donation to those ancestors. And to her surprise, another job opportunity arose, but this time a full-time opportunity in another city for the same position that she had applied for months before. This employer accepted her and she was very happy, as it was what she had been longing for. With a full-time job, she will be able to pay for all her expenses without depending on her parents, finish her PhD program, dedicate herself to it, and live with peace of mind. With this experience, she understood that living in Portugal is a great opportunity to rescue the spiritual debts of her ancestors, and that she's not living in Portugal by mere chance. Also, she was able to confirm that when we let go and try to control our egos and over attachments, we can put our lives in order. By prioritizing spiritual growth over material matters, infallibly, everything works better and our heart calms down. When she created a goal and made efforts to eliminate self centeredness and attachment, something divine happened in her life. She promises to continue participating in the divine work wherever she is. Flavia is very thankful to God, Meishu-sama, and her ancestors for the divine blessings bestowed on her and for her renewed spiritual understanding. She's thankful for her minister, who has given guidance during her entire purification process, for the Johrei family of Braga, and her own family and friends, who have never abandoned her, even though she's physically distant to them. Thank you very much for listening to this faith experience. I wish you a very blessed day. Thank you very much.
This brings to a conclusion of our morning service. Thank you everyone for joining us and have a blessed day.